We are 3 games into the Arizona Diamondbacks spring training season, so you know what time it is. Let's totally overreact to the results. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Dbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. I'm told I needed to not stream so much around here. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. So of course, I'm thrilled to have you guys here. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Glad to have you here. Glad to be joined by the one, the only Noah, the super producer on the ones and twos today. Noah, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I hope that Shane knows how much Detroit gear you wore while he was gone out of the office.
Oh, yeah.
Does he know? Okay, good. Just want to make sure. But I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. I hope you got a chance to go out and watch some Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. We have a lot to talk about. We're not going to get too in the weeds about the results, but we are going to completely overreact to some injury news. And we have plenty here to talk about when it comes to that. But overall here, of course, it's Monday, and you know what we do around here. We're also going to talk about MLB's lineup predictions. But we finally have baseball games to talk about. When we last left you on Friday, we were previewing the first game of the year, and that game actually ended pretty well. The Diamondbacks won their first game of the year against Colorado Rockies. It was a fairly close game without a ton of offense, unlike the rest of the weekend, which kind of got out of control. But we do have the good, the bad, and the ugly from the first 3 games of spring training. And again, it's spring training. So I guess react to the way you feel makes sense. But good to see Nolan Arenado get out to an early hot start here. He hit a home run in his first actual at-bat as a Diamondback. How good did that feel? How good did it feel to see a guy who struggled last year offensively with the Cardinals come out and instantly have himself a big at-bat as a Diamondback? He also went 1 for 2 with an RBI double in Sunday's game. So overall, things are looking good early in spring for Nolan Arenado. Got to remember, like here's the way to remember it. Remember, he might be part pirate, so it's Arenado. That way it makes sense. But Nolan, of course, is a big contributor to this team in 2026 if he can somehow recapture some of his former greatness. And I mean, again, from what I've seen early on so far, both in camp and in these spring training games, it's hard not to be excited about the addition of Arenado to this team. I think that he is going to have himself a much better season as we predicted he was most likely going to have. And again, it's just great to see him kind of fitting in so well with this team. Great to see you guys here in the chat already. Book's Journey says, Jordan Lawler said, you've been watching tape, huh? Watch this. And he cranked an off-speed pitch. Well, there's another good from this weekend. He sure did. It was the slider that Jack Summers was talking about. He hit his first home run of spring on Saturday. He was 1 for 2 with a walk, a home run, and a strikeout. So great to see Jordan Lawler getting off to a good start offensively. Interesting to see how the season shapes up for him and how spring training determines where he's going to play, if he's going to be part of the opening day starting lineup. I'm leaning a little bit more towards him being a part of that lineup, even though he wasn't in my predicted lineup for opening day, again, which we will discuss and compare a little bit against MLB's prediction for the Diamondbacks opening day lineup. But Jordan Lawler, obviously a big key, and a lot of questions about this outfield. But so far, a lot of good things happening when it comes to this outfield. Alek Thomas is a guy that already looks incredible. He has looked incredible in spring. He's looked incredible in camp. Just everything about him is incredible. His hair, obviously incredible. His first at bat of spring, hat or helmet off, immediately out of the box, rounds first base, gets himself a double. And it would appear that his mechanics and the change to his swing, which if I'm not imagining things, people have been talking about, we've discussed it a little bit. It would appear that his leg kick isn't as significant, and the results so far have been really good for Alek Thomas. He's 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 2 RBI, 2 walks. He's hitting .667 with a 221.33 OPS. So good start for AT. It's something you love to see as a Diamondbacks fan. Each season, it feels like one of these young guys that we have discussed being a part of the core have kind of taken that step forward and really kind of put themselves out there that they could be a superstar on this team. I'll say Gabby did it in 2023. Corbin Carroll also obviously has done it every single year that he's been a part of this team. Geraldo Perdomo took huge step forward last year. And man, if Alek Thomas could take a similar step as far as, production and offensive contributions, then there are no worries as far as this offense is concerned. Nolan Arenado seems like he's going to fit in just nicely. And like I said, if he can find a way to bounce back and have not even like the prime of his career, but just a 2024 type season for him offensively, then he will be a big contributor to this offense. But man, I'll tell you, Alek Thomas, if he can get on a roll, if he can kind of fix some of his inconsistent, offensive at bats, then this looks good. Mike in the chat says leg kick is low and his average will be high. Love that. Mighty Schumann says swing change. And again, the one thing about Thomas, right, was when we on this show and when fans can kind of, make jokes about, watching him line out softly to the right side or hit a home run, then I feel like there's, a fix that can be made there. I feel like a change can be made, and it would appear that's happened for Thomas. So that's a great thing to see. Also, another great thing to see is Ryan Waldschmidt smoking the ball already. We had this tweet from our guy, Jesse Friedman. He said Ryan Waldschmidt's first Cactus League batted ball had an exit velocity of 115.6 miles per hour. For reference, none of Gabriel Moreno, Geraldo Perdomo, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Santana, or Pavin Smith have ever hit a ball 115 plus miles per hour in a regular season game. Is that good? I think that's good. I feel like that'll play at a major league level, perhaps 115.6 miles per hour exit velo. The results haven't been great for Ryan Waldschmidt, but again, we played what Tori talked about. We gave you his answer as to what they're looking for in these at bats from these young players. So in the case of spring training, it's not necessarily the end results, but Ryan Waldschmidt was 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI. He scored a run and struck out once on Sunday. So again, that's a guy that really could play himself into a role with this team. He could even potentially be a part of this lineup come starting day. But another young guy that's really playing himself into some potential talk about joining the major league roster is Tommy Troy. This man has been everywhere. Every time the Diamondbacks put him in, it feels like he's getting on base. He's 4 for 7 so far in Cactus League play. He has 2 doubles, an RBI, a run scored, and 2 strikeouts. So again, the youngsters are doing the thing. Meanwhile, the vets, they're also doing the thing. Nolan Arenado hitting home runs, hitting doubles. Carlos Santana making incredible defensive plays already. He turned in the best defensive play of the game all day on Sunday versus the Angels. He stole a hit from Angels' Wade Meckler in the top of the 5th inning by diving to the right to snag a line drive headed for right field. It immediately made me say, this is why they got him. This is the reason why they got him. Defense is a priority for this team, and seeing Carlos Santana making plays like that already in spring training gives me a warm feeling in my belly. Ballhead HR in the chat says, feels like we're getting a lot of reinforcements this season. That is definitely the case. I mean, the Diamondbacks not only have reinforcements coming, but they have a staggered release of reinforcements. I think at times we often think that the Diamondbacks are going to get all of their injured players back at like the All-Star break. It would appear that AJ Puck is well ahead of schedule as far as that is concerned. He wants to come back in May, but it looks like it's most likely June for him. Meanwhile, Corbin Burnes wants to go out there and throw today in Goodyear. He wants to be on the mound in Goodyear, but they will not let him do that either. Corbin Burnes, he actually is around the All-Star break. So you kind of have, AJ Puck in June. You have Corbin Burnes in July. And then in August, we're supposed to get J Mart back. So that staggered release should be able to lift the spirits of the team a bit as each of those guys come back. Plus, we also have a guy who is injured, a huge part of this team, Corbin Carroll. And we have a pretty exciting update as far as things going for Corbin Carroll. On Friday, he was in the batting cages. We have a little video of this. He was swinging a bat one-handed because, once again, you cannot stop Corbin Carroll from playing baseball. So do whatever you think you can to stop him from playing baseball, but you cannot stop Corbin Carroll from playing baseball. Good luck. I definitely I dare you to try it. But this guy, again, it's just it's an incredible work ethic, and it's a guy who I think is already, I don't know, I'm just speculating here, frustrated about the fact that he was doing everything he could to be like ahead of schedule, and now because of this hand injury, he's behind schedule. Nothing he can do about it, nothing anyone can do about it. But again, it's got to be frustrating. So sometimes, again, you can maybe focus your frustrations into your training, and it would appear Corbin is doing that exact thing. So hopefully it won't take too much time for him to get his swing back. I know Jackson Merrill already got his, or not Jackson, excuse me, Jackson Holiday, excuse me, already got his stitches removed from his hand. And again, he's also resuming similar activity as Corbin Carroll. So hopefully, these stars won't miss too much time, but I don't care about those stars. I care about our star. Hopefully Corbin Carroll won't miss too much time, and we'll be back by opening day. So all of that is good. Bad, a little bit of bad. I mean, if you care about results from spring training games, they did win the first game against Colorado Rockies, but they did lose Saturday's game by a score of 11-6 to Colorado, and you hate to see that. They also lost by a score of 10-9 to the Angels on Sunday, where they had a brief comeback with a 6-run inning. It was 6 runs in the 6th inning, took a 1-run lead, and then poof, lead was gone. But again, spring training games, nobody really cares about the results of those. Ketel Marte, 1 for 6 so far this spring with a strikeout. Not too concerned, but again, would love it if he was hitting 600 like Geraldo Perdomo is currently hitting. Another case of the bad would be Carlos Santana. He has not been on base yet. He is 0 for 5 with a strikeout, with a 0 batting average and a 0 OPS. So again, hopefully he can come back around, because I know his offense isn't a huge concern, I guess. Like, you're not expecting a ton of contributions from Santana offensively. Again, that play that he made was on Sunday was the reason why he's here. But you hope that it's not like this. You hope it's not this much of a struggle. But the ugly would be the injuries that are already happening. And that's right. We got more injury news to talk about. I don't know how serious any of this is for now, but it feels like every time we do try to say that injury news isn't serious, it ends up becoming very serious. The main concern is Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly was scratched from a live batting practice session that was scheduled on Saturday after experiencing left mid-back tightness. I experience left-right mid-back tightness every single night of my life, but I am not an athlete, and I am also 44 years old. Kelly had an MRI done on Sunday, which we are still awaiting the results. That should provide some more clarity, according to Steve Gilbert, on the extent of the injury here. But unfortunate. Kelly was asked about the injury. He said, we've kind of just been treating something, I guess, in the mid-back, you can call it. Kind of changes throughout the days. Different days feel differently. And then I went to go throw in the bullpen today, got to around pitch 10, started feeling little stuff. And then the last 2 to 3, the sensation was enough that I, being proactive, just felt like it was time to shut it down. That's good. I mean, again, typically you have to kind of protect an athlete from themselves, and things like back tightness and soreness and stuff are things that I think players kind of have to push through all the time. But you're usually pushing through that in the middle of the regular season in July, and not, 3 weeks into camp. So again, there is not a huge concern here. But Torey Lovullo did say the concern is legitimate, but Merrill knows himself so well, and I just appreciate that he didn't try to go full throttle and get to that next level if there's anything wrong. So for right now, I'm just going to say that the concern is minimal. So again, minimal concern overall here. Hope that it doesn't turn into maximum concern for Merrill Kelly. Also, it's looking more and more like the Diamondbacks having 6 starting pitchers is the exact type of thing that you might come to be very thankful about should Merrill Kelly miss any time, or should perhaps he miss that opportunity to start on opening day. They kind of have a suitable replacement in Zach Gallen ready to step up should that be the case. But let's hope it's not. Let's hope that Merrill can make that start on opening day and not cause any changes here to the starting rotation or anything as far as the Diamondbacks are concerned with pitching staff. They are already too light and cannot really experience an injury like this early in the season. Another guy that we care deeply about, Ryan Thompson, aka Tea Time. He was throwing a live batting practice session when Diamondbacks prospect Kristian Robinson hit a sharp comebacker that hit Ryan Thompson. It struck him in the right shoulder upper back area, and Thompson immediately fell in pain. There was obviously concern based on the big fella dropping down there and getting hit, but he was able to stand back up, walk around near the pitcher's mound. He resumed his session, got a standing ovation from the people in attendance, and said he was okay overall after the bullpen session, gave a thumbs up after completing his live BP. So again, the Diamondbacks dodged a bullet or a comebacker there, perhaps. Maybe he didn't really dodge it because obviously it hit him, but no major injury to Ryan Thompson. Torey Lovullo didn't have an update, but he said that there was no injury report about Thompson had come across his desk. So that tells Lovullo that Thompson is fine. I'm sure there'll be some soreness and whatever, but I will tell you this much. Ryan Thompson is a fan of pro wrestling, and I feel like you could probably take a steel chair to Ryan Thompson, and he's going to no sell it. He's going to no sell it. So hopefully Thompson is fine, and more importantly, hopefully all their guys are fine. What we need is guys to be okay. We need our guys to be healthy and strong and make it through this Major League Baseball season, because we do not have the numbers to really put up with too many injuries. But Cole Drake, by the way, he got a few innings of work. A bunch of young pitchers have gotten some work for the Diamondbacks so far. So again, it's good to see some of those results coming in. Nothing that's going to blow you away, I don't think, overall. But again, a good mix of the guys who could potentially see time this season so far in these spring training games. Unfortunately, when you look at the scores there for the last 2 games, you can see where they didn't exactly do a great job of holding strong, but they did on Friday. So that's where we're at. Robert Berman's putting the wrong kind of energy out there into the universe. He's saying, how's Merrill's back surgery? Let's not do that. Let's not do that, Robert. At least for now. We can't do that. But we're going to take a quick break is what we're going to do. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about MLB's prediction for the opening day lineup for the Diamondbacks. I wonder if they know something I don't know, perhaps here when it comes to their prediction. And we're also going to answer your Mailbag Monday questions. So don't you go anywhere. Of course, you're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Right now, you can get down on the future bets for Major League Baseball, and there's no Damon here to shame me for simply saying that it might not be a terrible idea to throw a little money on the Dodgers at plus 250 to win the World Series in 2026, because we know that's an inevitability. But there's all sorts of fun to be had on the Bet365 app. And of course, during the Major League Baseball season, you can get down on the early payout offer with MLB, where you are a winner if your team goes ahead by 5 runs. And that's on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners as well. So get down on the action over at Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use our code of PHNX365 when you do, deposit $10 and make a bet for $5. Win or lose, you will get yourself some bonus bets. Those bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be located in Arizona, must be 21 and over. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And of course, another great way for you to win yourself some money and increase all the things you love in life is with Arizona Lottery's multiplier scratcher tickets, which they are the perfect way to add to life. I like to add to my life by doing nothing. I got to do a little bit of nothing this weekend, and that was fine, but I would like to do a lot more nothing. And of course, I could do that if my bills were paid thanks to the multiplier scratchers from Arizona Lottery. You can multiply the good things in life like vacation time, relaxation time, maybe game time, getting out and seeing some spring training games or some other sporting events. You can do all of this with multiplier scratchers because with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big enough to do more of the things you love in life. Multiplier tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. And with access to over 3,500 retailers across the state, you can play whenever and wherever you like. Love to play with Arizona Lottery. Must be 21 or over to play. Well, MLB did their thing and they released their prediction of each team's opening day lineup. And this prediction, I believe, was not done by Steve Gilbert because Steve Gilbert knows ball. But I was kind of fascinated here by how close, I guess you could say, it was to our opening day prediction for what the Diamondbacks starting lineup is going to be. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could change here, obviously. But overall, the main differences are simply Jordan Lawlar versus Tim Tawa. The starting lineup, according to MLB, is going to feature Geraldo Perdomo batting first overall, followed by Ketel Marte and then Corbin Carroll. Then they have Gabriel Moreno, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Santana, all at their positions. Adrian Del Castillo at DH, who that's the big question for me if they know something I don't. According to injury reports on his calf, it does not sound like Del is going to be ready for opening day. Unfortunately, that could change throughout spring training, obviously, but there's a good chance that he's going to be delayed on the start of his season, and we'll probably see him play DH at some point, but perhaps not off the beginning, top of the year. Our major changes is I have Pavin Smith there at DH, and I have him batting fifth over Nolan Arenado and Carlos Santana, who both moved down in my lineup, followed by Alek Thomas, and then I have Tim Tawa in center field. I have Alek Thomas in left due to what he's been playing this spring, or at least practicing during camp. And then I do not have Jordan Lawlar in my opening day lineup. That is one thing that, again, I really hope that I'm wrong about. I feel like overall, based on experience, there's a good chance that we could see Jorge Barosa or Tim Tawa out there over Jordan Lawlar. But if you're talking about what I'm hoping, I hope that's not the case. I really want this situation for Lawlar to work out. So far, his at-bats have looked really good in spring. He gave our guy Jack some props on him talking about, Jordan's, inability to hit the breaking ball and looking out for that slider, which he did look out for, and he hit a home run off of. And again, it feels like things are progressing in the right direction when you take a look at his second half of last year and the very small sample size that we have so far from this spring training. But I do really like Jordan Lawlar a lot. I've said that on the show, and I think that it's hard not to watch him play baseball and think that this guy is a major leaguer. It's just about where does he fit in, where does he find playing time at, and how can the Diamondbacks get him out there consistently to get regular at bats and to help this team win baseball games, right? So I think that's the biggest question for this lineup at this point. I feel like everything else is mostly set. The designated hitter role can go to any one of the guys, obviously, that aren't starting. I mean, Pavin Smith, based on it probably being Yoshinobu Yamamoto on opening day, is probably a lock for that DH position. But again, it's not a strong position for the Diamondbacks right now. Their designated hitter, that's something that is probably going to fluctuate based on days off, who's playing where. If Ketel is in the starting lineup as or out in the field as a position player, or whatever the case may be. But again, we'll probably see this evolve. And, the big story of this spring training, besides what's going to happen with pitching, both in the bullpen and the starting rotation, is the outfield for the Diamondbacks and how this is going to progress. I'll say again, the youngsters having some strong, appearances so far in the first 3 games, it's very encouraging. They might not win the job in spring and get it come opening day, but the depth for this team is very encouraging, and it feels like the future of this team is going to be here, very soon. So there's a good chance that we'll see all of these guys that we've been talking about, including Lou James Groover, up at a major league level potentially this year. But Tommy Troy and Ryan Waldschmidt have looked great so far. They also had on MLB.com one dark horse candidate to make each team's opening day roster. And this one was handled by Steve Gilbert. Again, ball knower. Steve Gilbert chose Gilbert Diaz as his dark horse candidate for the Dbacks. And that's not because Gilbert sounds like Gilbert and there's some favoritism there. It's because Diaz has really, again, major league experience that we've already seen him pitch for this team at a major league level. Plus, again, he really got himself back on track in 2025, which is what Steve notes here. He said he seemed to get things straightened out towards the end of 2025 and then followed it up with an impressive stint in winter ball. He still possesses nasty stuff, and with the Diamondbacks desperate for relief help, a strong spring could land Diaz a spot on the opening day roster. Similar to the outfield situation, the bullpen, it really is just truly wide open. It's wide open for several reasons, because they've said it is, and they've said that they're not going to, pass up on a younger arm potentially being in the bullpen if that arm proves themselves this spring and can, essentially be a guy that they feel like they can rely on, right? It's hard with the results not really mattering or the results not being significant during spring as far as games. It's hard to, judge true high leverage situations during spring training, because what is a high leverage spring training situation, right? It's I guess you could say in some of these games, for instance, like on Sunday, Diamondbacks took a lead and it was a close game all the way up until the end. So they did have an actual simulated competitive game where late it was, a game that was less than a run or, a run difference and game on the line. So again, it's a good chance to see these youngsters in those opportunities, but those are the guys that are really going to have to prove themselves like substantially during spring. I think that the veterans are going to kind of, I'm not going to say get a pass, but it's going to be easier for the vets that have major league experience to end up in the bullpen. So again, even a guy like Gilbert Diaz, who does not have much major league experience, does have a little bit of an advantage against some of his, minor league teammates that are vying for a similar position as him as well. So let's see. Ballhead in the chat says Stroud, Hoffman, Diaz, 2026 Renaissance. We are so bad. It's so wild to me to think of what this bullpen could be. And I am still very pessimistic about it. I wish I was more optimistic. I think that there's a good chance that by May, the bullpen could literally be comprised of completely different individuals than it was comprised of at the same time last year or at any point last year. But I also just think that there's not a lot to be excited about, right? I wish we could all get excited about Paul Sewald. And I hope Paul Sewald makes us all eat our words. There's a lot of guys on this team I hope makes me eat my words, but I none more that I want than Paul Sewald. I think Paul is a guy that his, consistency and what he was for this team when they acquired him in 2023, if he could find a way to not even be that good, but just be close to that, even in a role that isn't the closer role, that you can feel like he can contribute to this team and help them win. I also think that, he is a guy that is unfazed by those big moments, by those high leverage moments when the game is on the line. I know we have some bad memories about some of those moments as Diamondbacks fans, but it still is different when you are able to have a guy that has the experience Sewald has out there on the mound in some of those moments, especially during a long, regular season, right? Because again, even if he's not the closer at the end, due to the reinforcements we have coming, it would be great if he could help this team solidify the back end of their, bullpen, at least until those reinforcements start returning, like AJ Puck in June. I believe he can, but I've also doubted him, and I think that it's hard for me to get excited about that. It's hard for me to get excited about a lot of guys in the bullpen, but I think Taylor Clark had himself a great year last year with the Royals. I think Cade Stroud is a phenomenal addition. So, there's some arms here that are probably a little underestimated or maybe aren't getting the respect they deserve, and those guys could help this bullpen be a much different bullpen than it was last year. What we need is for them to not fulfill their projected destiny of being the 27th best bullpen in baseball. Okay. Can we just move up 10 spots to 17th? I'm not asking for everything. I just want a little better than 27th. I feel like if we can get that, then this team, with the way this offense is already swinging, the bat so far, I feel good things about this team. But I'm an idiot, and I'm cautiously optimistic all the time about most things, again, except the bullpen. So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we are going to do what we do on this show every single Monday and have done since the beginning of time. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Drive into excitement over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And when I say that, I mean forget driving in your old car. You can drive into excitement with one of the 4 Corvettes that Gila River Resorts is giving away. And that is at their 4 casinos. That's right, 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes, 4 chances to win big. How do you qualify? Check out any Gila River Resorts and Casinos casino on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be hourly drawings for free bonus play or for a finale entry. On Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can earn 4 times the entries when you play with the card. And on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., you can get down on their hot seat finale qualifier where you play with the card for your shot at a chance to win one of these wonderful Corvettes. Plus, there's exclusive swag giveaways throughout the promotion. So do not miss out on the excitement over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. For more information, visit playathila.com, and do not miss your chance to accelerate into luxury. Play, earn, and win at any one of their 4 casino locations. And we are thrilled to be discussing the husband and wife law team on this program. There's a good chance that when Damon and I go to Mexico City that we're going to need the husband and wife law team. But you got to do your research for sure when it comes to looking for an attorney after an accident or a serious injury. And the lawyer you hire does matter. That's why you got to check out Mark and Alexis Breyer, who are the husband and wife law team. Phoenix is their home, where they raised their 8 children and where their focus is always client results and giving back to the community. You've heard the name, especially if you watch Diamondbacks games, and the one thing that they do is they go to trial for you. They are actual trial attorneys. If your case needs to go to trial, they are ready for you. They know their way around a courtroom and what needs to be done to prevail in front of a jury for their clients. This practice is 100% dedicated to injury and wrongful death. Experience and specialize in equipment with expertise to handle every aspect of your case. If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. I should probably put their phone number in my phone now, just in case as a good, whatever. We'll do that later. I should have them on speed dial just in case, but of course that's for a later time. For now, we are here, and you know what we do on this show every single year. Every single year is the year of the snake, even when it's the stupid year of the horse. Every single year on this podcast is our year. Every single month on this podcast, no matter what month of the year it is Black History Month on this podcast. Every single month on this podcast is also Women's History Month, and every single month on the Diamondbacks podcast is Black Women's History Month. Every single week is Shark Week and the Winter Olympics, because I already miss curling and ice skating and Alyssa Liu. And every single day on this show is Earth Day, mostly because Noah refuses to recycle and we have to remind him to do so. But on Mondays, we go to the mailbag. Noah, do you know how to go to the mailbag? Can we go to the mailbag?
I try to get to everything in my mailbox, and then once in a while there's a letter that makes me go wow, my mailbox.
All right. Well, that once again, Grammy nominated artist Megaran, shout out to him as always. I'll see him later today. But for now, let's get to the mailbag questions. What do we got in there, Noah?
First one is from Travis. Did any of the non-roster camp invite guys stand out this weekend to you? Also, been seeing some record highs for you guys lately. What a shame.
Okay, so Travis is trying to shame us with this whole Arizona is hot thing. And look, Travis, you're barking up the wrong tree during this time of the year, buddy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You can hit me with the record highs thing maybe later this week. You can hit me with the record highs thing in June. You are not going to bother me on Monday, February 23rd with how beautiful the weather is out here and at spring training. I'm still in a hoodie, as you can see. And I'm still thinking about hockey. But yeah, no, miss me with that for now. Boo this man. We'll see him later. But as far as his first question is concerned, I mean, I know I talked about a couple of guys as far as, roster guys and some of the non-roster invitees. It's been interesting. It's been weird. But I will say overall, one guy that's kind of stood out. I don't even know if he's a non-roster invitee, but Jose Fernandez has been a guy that's looked really good out there for the Diamondbacks. And again, it's about hearing from the Diamondbacks and hearing from Torey Lovullo, who exactly has been kind of like, standing out a little bit. I know his name was one that was brought up. As far as pitching was concerned, I know Thomas Hatch got the start in game one there for the Diamondbacks. So Diamondbacks really wanted to see him. Taylor Rashi had a good inning of work. Pitching wise, I think is the big thing that's been standing out because there are so many guys with major league experience that are here in camp as non-roster invitees that really could factor in due to, their experience. But unfortunately, they've missed a year or they've missed, significant time, right? So I would not be surprised at all when it comes to the Dbacks and what we see as far as the bullpen is concerned, and if we see like a Derek Law or Jonathan Loaisiga. I mean, I've heard Jonathan Loaisiga's name even thrown around as a potential closer. So again, there's a lot of belief in these guys. Hatch, one inning of work out there with 2 strikeouts in his debut in the first game of the year for the Diamondbacks. So he was a guy that really stood out. Andrew Hoffman, I believe, is on the 40-man roster, but he's another name that definitely stood out. He had a couple of strikeouts as well. So, I mean, it's early and you're just watching guys really throw, everywhere. So, but in the game so far, I've seen a couple of these non-roster invitees look pretty good so far. What else we got there, Noah?
We got Geraldo Perdomo's biggest fan here.
Still debatable.
Yeah, Damon.
Oh, Damon gets pumped about this one. All right,
Yeah.
He tries to simmer down a little bit whenever he sees this name come up.
He says, thoughts on Alek Thomas's adjustments at the plate? Any other players who you think have stood out so far, even though it's only been a few games?
Alek's adjustments at the plate have been huge. And I think people started noticing in some of the, batting practice videos and just live BP that he was taking. But again, his adjustments so far seem to be working. If Alek could just become a guy that gets on base more often and can potentially use his speed and his base running to help this team, it's going to be huge. Like the Diamondbacks just kind of need, at this point, what feels like one other guy to be a big contributor offensively. You kind of lock in Perdomo, Marte, and Carroll, right? And even Gabby, you feel pretty good about Gabby. Arenado so far has looked great. So again, you really think that, if you get somebody like Alek Thomas to also pitch in and start hitting around 275 and getting on base more, that's going to be a big game changer for this lineup offensively, and is just going to be again a reason that they're not going to have to worry about their offensive production. I think this team is solid offensively, and I think, again, like I said, if you get a mild contribution out of Pavin Smith or Alek Thomas as part of the starting lineup, then you feel pretty good so far. But Book's Journey says Fernandez is on the 40-man roster. That's what I figured. I don't know why I didn't think he was, but also Andrew Hoffman, also on the 40-man roster. But when it comes to Perdomo, yeah, Geraldo Perdomo already looks great, by the way. There's so many guys that look great already, and Perdomo does not look like he has missed a beat. I think that rightfully so. You can be hesitant about immediately assuming that Perdomo was going to have as big of a year this year as he did last year, right? But so far, it looks like Perdomo has not missed a beat, and not only that, but he looks in great shape. He looks like he's added a little bit of a bulk to him overall, and I mean that in the best possible way. I don't mean like Mac from It's Always Sunny bulking up. I mean, he's actually added muscle. But this is definitely a lineup that I think is fine offensively. But Alec Thomas shifts things into the direction of you being very, very positive about what this team is going to do offensively. It also feels like this is going to be back to the 2023, chaos causing Diamondbacks lineup that we loved, right? So hopefully we get a bit more of that, a bit more chaos on the base path, a bit more, action, right? Like it felt like at times offensively last year, it was like feast or famine for this team, both in how many runs they were able to put up in a game and how many, home runs they were able to get. So yeah, that definitely Alec Thomas is going to be big for this team. And I already love the changes that he's made. What else we got there, Noah?
We got Fleaball here. He says, I was very excited about ABS this year, but now they're taking away the strike zone box from the telecast. Can't they just do a 5-second delay? What are your thoughts and solutions?
I still think this is the dumbest thing ever. And so far, what we've seen in spring training, I think, is what we're going to continue to see on the broadcast, which is still, and maybe this was our overreaction overall as a society to this news, but it feels like they're still going to have somewhat of a strike zone on TV, and they're still going to show you where the ball crossed home plate according to their cameras and their information. I think the main thing that's going to change is any indicator that the ball is a strike or a ball, which still seems silly to me, because what's the difference between indicating it with colored check marks versus indicating it with showing the actual position of the strike call on screen? It's all dumb. The fact that they don't want to tip the team off to what the pitch was according to the broadcast is stupid. The fact that they want the call to just come from the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher is stupid. This is all done in an effort to shorten the amount of time that the reviews are so it doesn't impact the overall time of game. Understood. So if that's the case, why are we doing any of this? Why are we not just buzzing into the umpire's ear and telling them ball or strike? Whatever. I like the ABS challenge system for the display it is, for the pageantry it is. I love the tap on the head and immediately turning to the scoreboard and seeing who's a fraud here, the umpire or the batter, which one doesn't know the strike zone, right? I love that. I mean, I do feel like they found a way to make this whole thing exciting. But in an effort to make it a part of the game and a mini game in the game and a strategic part of the game and giving you 2 challenges and letting you have your challenges back if you're correct and all of that, the main focus of all of this was an attempt to get the calls right. Not only to an attempt, but trying our best to make sure that every call in the game is right. Like not just the reviews you can have on the field, but obviously some of these erroneous balls and strike calls. And sometimes umpires are just so blatantly wrong that this is going to be extremely helpful so that we don't dwell on those missed calls, especially in big moments. However, doing all of this stuff to make sure that the dugout doesn't give a hint, or you don't have the second baseman tipping off the batter or telling, giving the umpire the ability to cancel the challenge if he feels like the information came from an outside source. All of it is silly. All of it is ridiculous. And I feel like they lost the script. They lost the purpose of what they were doing this for. So that's where I'm at. But overall, I still think the ABS challenge system is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I believe overall the television broadcast isn't going to be impacted as much as we believe it to be. However, that remains to be seen, because Major League Baseball could require changes to be made if they feel like the broadcast is still showing too much of a ball and strike situation and want it reduced. So that remains to be seen. But what else we got, Noah?
We have Michael here. He says, with the new ABS system, who do you think will have a consistent green light to use it? Obviously Gabby, but in late inning situations, it'll definitely have some momentum shift effect, especially if the calls are overturned on the third out.
The Diamondbacks went, I believe, 3 for 4 on challenges in the first game of the season, and I think they were all thanks to Gabby. As far as I am concerned, Gabby is the person that's going to be allowed to make the calls here. The catcher behind the plate should always be the one given the green light to challenge balls and strikes. I I thought for the most part, especially when it was being tested, that, even letting the batter determine or try to make that call might not be the best call. And I don't know if Michael here means offensively or defensively. As far as defense and calling it when the Diamondbacks pitchers are on the plate, that to me is 100% going to be in Moreno's hands. Gabby has to be the one to call that, because not only is ego taken out of it by the catcher making the one that makes the call, but the catcher's right there with the umpire. The catcher has the best view. I don't care what the pitcher thinks, where it crossed the plate. The catcher saw where it actually crossed the plate. Leave it up to the catcher to make that call. And then as far as offensively, it's going to be up to each individual batter. But again, that's going to be a tricky situation. And I don't know how Lovullo is going to strategize that. You have to obviously meet with your batters, and you have to ensure that these guys are not blowing saves in the first inning. But at the same time, every at bat in a baseball game can be important. So there's conflict there, especially like if you're talking about in the second or third inning, a scoring opportunity, 2 outs, and one of your best hitters on the plate. You might let him challenge that one in order to try to convert that particular scoring opportunity. But I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun for baseball overall. And I think that, again, Torey is going to have to make some of those decisions on, how he trusts batters. I'm sure, that's going to change as the season goes on too, right? Like, so you don't want to be a hitter that keeps blowing your saves and being wrong about it. Like 2 or 3 of those in a row, and I think you're done like ruining our saves for the rest of the season. I'm sorry. I'm giving you the red light when it comes to using our challenges, no matter what you think. But let's see. In the chat, Zach says, Tommy Troy's quality of bats have been awesome to watch. They really have, haven't they? They've been great, man. I mean, Tommy Troy, we talk about Ryan Waldschmidt a lot, but Tommy Troy, also one of the Diamondbacks' top prospects, also a guy who could be here very early, still needs to find playing time somewhere in order for him to be on the major league roster, but that could all easily be done, I guess. Easier said than done, I'm sure. Mike in the chat says Mac was ripped in regards to Mac from It's Always Sunny. Depends on what season you're talking about. When he was cultivating mass? Not ripped, but that's a whole different story. I do love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Groundhog Mama says in the chat, blame the Astros and their garbage cans when you're talking about the television signal thing. Yeah, that we can blame the Astros for a lot of things when it comes to that. But thank you, Groundhog Mama, for being a Supporters Club member. Thank the rest of you, Books, Journey, appreciate you. If you guys are not a Supporters Club member, sign up on our YouTube page. It's $5 a month. Get a badge next to your name. That way I can praise you like I just did them. And it also updates with time. It's a literal badge of honor and true sicko stuff. You can join now, and of course, you get access to those custom emojis and access to our behind-the-scene vlogs, experimental content, and exclusive content just for you guys. So, again, if you already send super chats, this is a great next step and always helps us out. We appreciate the people that support us and keep us going. And we're still rocking when it comes to All City. I think we still lead the way when it comes to Supporters Club members, and that is amazing. We are small, but we are mighty when it comes to being Arizona sports fans. Don't you ever forget that. But we got a couple of other questions. Speaking of our wonderful members, a couple of questions from our members-only Discord, which you get to be a part of if you are a diehard. Noah, what do we got in the Discord?
First up, we have Brett here. He says, on a scale of Fanatic sucks to these are elite, how would you rate the new Dbacks clubhouse hats?
Oh my God. No, I hate these hats. I hate these hats so much. Can we get a little closer look at the hats? No? Oh, that's the closest that we got that at least. So this is this basic line of clubhouse hats that the Diamondbacks and every Major League Baseball team has. They were similar to a line that was put out for the NFL. However, these hats are $6 more expensive than those because of the little logo thing on the bill, little rubber logo. And these hats suck.
Yeah.
These hats absolutely suck. The logo is too small. It's too plain. And let me tell you, I'm usually a fan of basic stuff. I like plain. I like simple. I like straightforward. In fact, this is such a wannabe branded Bills hat. It makes me sick.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. It's like an off-brand branded Bills.
Yeah, because they don't have the quality craftsmanship of the little rubber logos that branded Bills has.
Exactly.
They have these little dainty little things in the middle. They thought they could charge $6 more by putting a little rubber little stamp on the brim of the hat, which is absolutely absurd. These hats cost $56 US.
Not great.
And these are, I believe, adjustable hats. Are we doing this? Are we really doing this? Here's the thing. Fanatics takes the heat for this, much like Torey Lovullo takes the heat for a lot of things the team does during the season. But Fanatics is not the culprit here. We need to boo New Era when it comes to this. And New Era knows ball typically when it comes to hats. Am I right? Like, New Era puts out some great stuff. And usually I feel like New Era's stuff goes in the opposite direction. Like, they have patches and great stuff on the side, all sorts of wonderful things. But instead, it's this little rubber dainty thing. But I'm also fine with blaming Fanatics. They're culpable here as well. But I will blame New Era for this miss, and I say big thumbs down on this hat for sure. Also, $56. Like, hats are so expensive, and I will say that one thing I have always kind of respected has been the hat structure based on how much work goes into it. And there is a lot of work that goes into some of these hats. Trust me, I get it. I know. I'm okay with paying sometimes for the ones that have the double patches on the side and they're special limited edition that, blah, 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 whatever. But for your everyday regular type of hat like that, that seems egregious to be charging that much money for their clubhouse hat. So I don't know, but I do know some people like it. Again, like I said, I'm typically a man that likes simple, like this branded Bills hat. This was their golf hat last year. This is incredible. The little rope, beautiful with all the little colors in it. This isn't complicated. It has a similar kind of rubber logo, but it's not tiny. You can see what that is, and it's got the golf clubs and the golf. It's great. It's a great hat. Go buy yourself a branded Bills hat and stop wasting your time on this stuff. But what else we got?
We have Arrow Chain here. He goes, which of the D-backs prospects you have seen in spring training gives you the best vibes?
Oh, the best vibes. That's probably a combination of Lou James Groover, who gave me incredible vibes. Also made me feel very old by, I believe, calling me sir. Didn't love that. And Yumin Lin, of course. Amazing vibes around corn. Those guys are the best. But if you're talking about young prospects or maybe guys that are newer to this team, still love Andrew Hoffman's vibes. Super bad. He is both Jonah Hill and Michael Cera in a person. Looks like Jonah Hill, sounds like Michael Cera. Also, I really do like Cole Drake and Mitch Bratt. Mitch Bratt's another guy that I really like his vibes. Cole Drake got a chance to pitch on Sunday. And again, these are guys that could see Major League Baseball time this year. But if you're talking about vibes, it's Lou James Groover by far. Lou James Groover to me has incredible vibes. And again, just guys that I'm very excited about. I don't get to see the youngsters often in person. I see them through clips and videos and, catching a AAA game every now and then. But really cool to see these guys out there. And so many of them look like they're already Major League ball players. Ryan Waldschmidt is also one of those guys, by the way. I'm old, but some of these guys that I think of as being kids look like full grown men. So they are out there and they look like they are ready to join this Major League roster. I would put Lou James Groover in that category as well. Shout out to RA, by the way. Gifted some. Did he give some Supporters Club memberships?
He did. He gifted 5.
Dude, you're the best. Thank you so much, RA. Appreciate you, brother. What else we got, Noah? I think I answered that question. Did I answer that question? Yeah. All right, let's go on. What else we got?
We got Katie here. Diamondbacks play the Rangers tomorrow. Are we petty enough to want one of the prospects we yanked from them to pitch? Or if they're feeling better, fingers crossed. Merrill?
I love this. I love this energy, Katie May. This is the exact kind of energy that we need to keep up. It's not petty energy. It's the exact kind of energy that I need in my life. Maybe Mitch Bratt gets in there. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Cole Drake due to him pitching on Sunday. I don't believe it's Merrill, obviously, due to the information that we just received about Merrill and his lower back or mid-back tightness. I do know that Michael Soroka was scheduled, I believe, to start on Tuesday. That's what Tori had told us at one point. Not sure if there's been any changes in regards to that. But yes, Book says, unfortunately, both pitchers pitched already. That's what I thought. I thought Mitch Bratt also got into a game as well. David Hageman, I haven't seen much of him yet. Perhaps maybe he gets in there. But whatever we can do to be petty, I am completely on board with, especially when it comes to reminding the Rangers of how we fleeced them of 3 of their prospects, only for that double agent Merrill Kelly to come back to us. And maybe we got a little bit of karma with his mid-back tightness. But we should have some information in regards to his let me even check, to his MRI, which was supposed to come back today. So hopefully we'll get something on that. But Tori Lavello said Merrill Kelly is feeling good, but didn't have specifics to share. According to our guy Alex Weiner, said it's tough to get all the information instantly over the weekend. So again, Merrill's feeling good. Hopefully this does not turn into a bigger issue. However, with every injury that the Diamondbacks are currently suffering through, I feel like they just have to deal with it overall. I think that they have to deal with guys missing time, and they have to do everything they can to not, re-aggravate these injuries or make things, get worse. Like the Diamondbacks dodged a bullet with Corbin Carroll, even though it sucks that he had this injury and sucks that he misses time. At the very least, it's not his throwing hand, so he's been able to do all of the training work that he's been able to do. And again, it helps expedite the recovery because if it's his throwing hand, then we were told that obviously there's a different pain experience there by having to grip the ball and throw the ball and such. So hopefully he's okay. Ryan Thompson sounds like he's doing okay, and Merrill Kelly, let's hope that he does not miss time. Let's hope he's still the Diamondbacks opening day starter. Again, this is the reason why adding Zach Gallen is a really good thing that this team did, because overall, if any of these guys suddenly come up as injured or needing to miss time, they still have the depth, at least at this point, for them to put out 5 starting pitchers come opening day. So we'll see how that progresses. We'll see how everything else progresses. But again, we thank you guys all so much for joining us on this show. Michael Dixon is not wrong. Ryan Thompson is a certified G. He's also a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. He's also 6'10", and it's not quite 7 feet, but you also can't teach that either. I thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow with another 12 p.m. show. Damon Dog will be joining us, and we're going to talk about Shohei's dog with Damon Dog. And he's going to hate that. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Make sure to join us. We'll also have your updates from today's spring training game, which starts here in about 6 minutes. So let's see what happens when it comes to the Diamondbacks today. But overall, thank you guys so much for joining us. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. We got Noah on the 1s and 2s over there, but he does not want you to follow him. And in fact, if you follow Noah, I've been requested to tell you to unfollow him. Still don't know what that whole thing is about, but he doesn't want you to follow him. We do want you to follow our account, PHNX_Dbacks, and that's also for Instagram. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're posting stuff over there. I know some people have abandoned that other website. So of course, if you have done that, join us on Instagram. You can also send us Mailbag Monday questions over there through our messages if you choose to do so. But all roads, as always, do lead to @PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, we thank you guys again for joining us. Thank you for your Mailbag Monday questions. They always are delightful, and they always make Mailbag Monday what it is. Until tomorrow, hope you guys all have yourselves a wonderful evening. We'll be back here tomorrow at 12. Let's hope that the Diamondbacks cannot let a team score 10 runs or more against them today. That would be nice to see. And let's hope we have some good news about Merrill Kelly when we get back together tomorrow at noon. Until then, I hope you guys all have yourselves a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's far more fun when you don't have to talk about more pitchers getting injured.
We all silly like the mayor.